Sometimes when we're grieving the loss of someone very important to us, very special to us, we develop ways to try to be close to them, to identify with them. Last video, I talked about possessions or objects that belonged or that remind us of our loved one, and how we want to keep that close to us, and how there's nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely normal. It's as we miss them, especially if we had a really close relationship with them, and they were really good to us, and anything of that sort, we were very bonded with them. There's another way that we can possibly do that some people do. Think of how to associate themselves with that loved one. And another way, besides physical objects, clothing, what have you, like I said on the last messages, is to actually feel symptoms in your body. Have you ever felt symptoms in your body? You wonder, what in the world's going on? Why am I feeling this? And this was after the loss? If you do, I'd love to have a comment from you, what you felt. I'm just going to give one example. Say the person died from cancer, and say they had a lot of stomach pain, and you really were there and knew that they had all of that digestive stomach, extreme pain, and all of a sudden you're having pain in your stomach area, your gut. That could be an identification symptom to what they went through. You're identifying, you're trying to stay close to them. It's just a subconscious thing that you're doing and your body's doing as part of your grief, as part of your loss, as part of you mourning them. And it's completely normal. You're not crazy. It probably doesn't feel good at all. Maybe it's headaches. It could be multiple different things that you're experiencing, and it's normal. We've talked about foggy thinking and other normal things. It is very, very common, if you haven't heard this or seen my other video on it, to actually have your health get worse after the loss of a loved one, because your body is feeling what you are going through. Our bodies are connected. We're all connected. We're body, soul, and spirit. And so that is very normal. As I've shared, I was gluten-free for many, many years and needed to be. It's like an intolerance in my body, and affects my muscles immediately. And after Heidi died, at that point I was eating a lot of rice products and rice, and that was one of my staples. And I began to have an issue with rice and became bloated. I was getting some help one-on-one with a holistic nutritionist of sorts, and she said, well, the best thing to do is to go off of even rice and see how you feel. And I did, and it was definitely an issue, and I felt much better. So I now abstain from rice. And so that was something that got worse after my daughter died. So don't be surprised if you have physical symptoms similar to the person who died that has caused a life-changing loss for you. Don't be surprised. It's one thing that can happen. It doesn't always happen by any means, but it's another common thing. Dr. Ellen Wolfelt talks about this, and it's part of this series because of that. So again, I don't think I did directly have that issue, but I definitely had physical health issues that got worse after the loss of my loved one. So definitely I encourage you to go to the doctor if it's something severe. Do not, just assume it's temporary. Get checked, by all means. I am all about taking care of myself and naturally healing and doing things as natural as possible, but I still go to my doctor at least once a year, more than once a year. I really have to because I have no thyroid, but I will go and I will get tests done to see if anything else is wrong, because that's very important to do. So if, as you go along your grief journey, these symptoms should subside more in time. And if they don't, again, if you haven't already, see a physician, get checked, make sure there's nothing else going on, okay? Because we don't want to assume one thing or the other. We could assume it's all physical and ignore that this might be just your body causing it, or we don't want to assume that it's just a temporary thing that has to do with your grief, and it really is something serious. So that's, again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just sharing what I've learned and what I can see. But it is something that can happen that may not be doctor verified, if you want to say it that way. Another thing you can do is definitely go to a professional to help you understand why you're feeling this, because it may be something more deep-seated and it does take longer to work through, and you need help. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no put down. You're not crazy. You're not bad or messed up or worse than anybody else. We're all unique, and the uniqueness is fine. It's good. It's okay. So get the help when we need it. I've gotten different kinds of help throughout my journey as I needed it, and it is good, and I'm so glad that I did. So that is, and I want to mention a Bible verse that says that it's a prayer, and I have to look it up, and I'll put it in the actual description of this video, but it says, I pray that your health will be good, even as your soul is doing well, even as your soul is prospering. I pray that your health is prospering. And I just mentioned that verse because I think that's a biblical evidence that our bodies reflect what our minds and our souls are going through. And so once we get our souls healthier, our bodies a lot of times line up with that. There's a client that I'm in touch with that is not seeing me anymore, but had a lot of health issues, and it took some definite working on things together and with God's help to work through even some trauma and things from the past. And bottom line, there's a breakthrough now in her health, and I'm very excited about that. And I do believe it partly has to do with that breakthrough in her soul first. So we can't say when and where and exactly how we're not God, how it's going to play out, but it definitely makes a difference. If you're concerned about your physical health, work on your mental and your soul, heart health. As you work on that, it will be one part of bringing healing to your body. It definitely, I believe, will over time. But by all means, take care of yourself, do what you need to, and get, medical help as well, if that's part of what you need. So that's just all to encourage you. This is not me trying to give advice. It's just me sharing different principles that could help you along your grief journey. And I'm Julie Kay. I'm a life coach, and I love to help people find their way through grief and loss. And thank you for joining me on this video. Please share it out and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell so that you'll see the future uploads. I don't put out a ton of videos, but I do put out message videos like this. I'm here to help, and if you want to talk, I'd love for you to reach out to me on Messenger. All right, so God bless you, and again, your physical health is important, your mental health is important, every part of you is important. You are important, you're valuable. See you on the next video. Bye-bye.